Rich people do not always get richer by buying better things. A lot of the time, they get richer by refusing to buy the same stupid stuff everybody else calls normal. And that is the part people hate. Because the middle class gets sold a movie, a lifestyle, a costume. Buy this, upgrade that, protect this little gadget, flex this logo, renovate that room, reward yourself. You earned it. Meanwhile, the people who actually keep money until old age look at half of that and go, no thanks. Not because they are cheap, because they can smell extraction. I pulled together 7 things people with real staying power usually stop buying. Completely. And yeah, some of these are going to feel personal, because one of them is probably sitting in your driveway. Another is probably in your closet. And the last one? That one lives in your phone, in your thumb, in that random Tuesday mood swing that empties your account before dinner. That is the real thief. And we are saving that for number 1. Legally, I gotta say, none of this is financial advice. Personally, I would say it is just common sense they do not teach you in Econ 101. Number 7 is the flashy big purchase. Usually a brand new car, but honestly, it can be anything bought for status first. New luxury SUV, designer watch on credit, top spec truck for a guy hauling nothing except ego. Here is the scam. The rich are not avoiding these things because they cannot afford them. They avoid buying them brand new because they understand depreciation. Street translation? It starts dying in value before you finish showing it off. You sign the paper, you get the keys, you drive away, and boom, a chunk of value is gone. Not in theory, immediately. Then the next few years keep punching. A lot of vehicles lose a brutal amount of value in the first 3 years, which means the first owner paid a premium just to experience the fastest part of the drop. That is not ownership. That is volunteering to be the crash pad. Meet Jason, 29, good salary, wants people to know he is doing well. So he buys the shiny version, new, leather, giant screen, monthly payment that follows him around like a probation officer. 3 years later, he still owes money. The smell is gone, the excitement is gone, the value is definitely gone. Now meet the older guy on his block. Quiet dude, no performance speech, no hustle quotes. He buys the same category of car, slightly used. Somebody else already ate the first brutal hit. He gets the utility. He skips the financial faceplant. That is what real wealth does. It lets other people pay the vanity tax. And before somebody says, yeah, but rich people buy expensive cars too. Sure, some do, after they are rich, after the machine is built. Normal people try to use the symbol to fake the machine. That is backwards. And if this already hurts, good. Because number 6 is smaller, sneakier, and somehow even more disrespectful. Number 6 is tiny protections they sell you at the register. Extended warranties, product insurance, accident coverage on cheap electronics, protection plans for things that should not require a committee meeting. This one is evil because it feels responsible. You think, I am being careful. No, a lot of the time, you are being farmed. Stores love these add-ons because the margins are ridiculous. The item gets sold once. Fear gets sold forever. And they sell it in that soft voice too. Would you like peace of mind for just a little more? Bro, if a toaster needs a hostage negotiation, maybe the toaster is the problem. Here is the rule wealthy people understand. Insurance is for catastrophe. House burns down. Medical disaster. Liability issue. Real damage. Life-changing damage. Insurance is not for headphones. Not for a blender. Not for some random appliance that costs less than one annoying weekend. Because if you insure every little thing, you are basically paying a monthly subscription to your own anxiety. Meet Carla. She buys a phone, then the case, then the protection plan, then the replacement coverage, then the store membership, then the premium support. By the end, the extras start looking like another device. She thinks she reduced risk. Actually, she just prepaid for a problem that probably never shows up. Now compare that with someone who keeps a real cash buffer. Same broken phone, same annoying surprise. But instead of paying every month for years, they replace it from a rainy day fund and keep moving. That is what self-insuring means. Not reckless, just not gullible. And that little shift matters because the entire system is built on one dream. Convince you that convenience is worth permanent leakage. Number 5 is trend-chasing upgrades. Usually this shows up in homes, kitchens, bathrooms, accent walls, fancy finishes copied from whatever social media declared elite this month. Here is the funny part. People call it an investment. A lot of the time, it is not. It is cosplay with plumbing. Now, functional repairs are different. Roof leaking? Fix it. Pipes failing? Fix it. Electrical mess? Fix it yesterday. That is not spending for vibes. That is protecting the asset. But trendy cosmetic upgrades? Whole different game. Because style ages fast. Faster now, actually. The internet industrialized boredom. You see a beautiful room online. You copy it. Contractors delay. Materials change. Budget balloons. By the time the project is finished, the algorithm already moved on to another color palette and a different kind of faucet. And when people sell, a lot of that trend money does not come back. Often, only part of those renovation dollars return. The rest just evaporates into mood boards and hardware. Meet Denise and Mark. Denise sees videos for 6 weeks straight and decides her kitchen is ruining her life. She rips out cabinets that worked perfectly. She upgrades fixtures nobody asked for. She spends big to feel current. For a while, it works. Then the bills arrive. Then the novelty dies. Then something else looks dated. Mark, across town, fixes what breaks, improves storage, upgrades lighting where it actually helps, makes the house function better, not just photograph better. One of them bought utility. The other bought temporary applause from strangers with ring lights. That is the split. And listen, this is not anti-beauty. It is anti-delusion. Because the system loves when you confuse aesthetic churn with financial progress. Number 4 is logos. Big ones, loud ones, luxury signals, stuff designed to announce itself before you do. This one always starts a fight. Good. Because brands are not just selling fabric. They are selling borrowed status. And the middle class gets hit hardest because the temptation is emotional. If I look expensive, maybe I will feel secure. Maybe people will take me seriously. Maybe strangers will think I made it. Meanwhile, people with old money energy could not care less. Not always, but often enough to matter. They buy quality, fit, durability, texture. Then they leave the billboard marketing to everybody else. There is a brutal joke hiding here. When you are broke, you wear the brand to look rich. When you are rich, you wear plain stuff because you do not need witnesses. That is not always true, obviously. Actually, no. Let me say it cleaner. The less someone needs external validation, the less likely they are to pay extra for giant proof. Meet Andre. He buys the shirt with the giant logo, the belt everybody recognizes, the sneakers everybody notices. Half his outfit is a press release. His bank account? Quiet for a different reason. Then there is the millionaire nobody clocks in line for coffee. Plain jacket, normal watch, solid shoes, no costume. You cannot tell who has money. That is the point. Because wealth is not a look, it is optionality. And logos usually cost more while giving you less. Less quality per dollar. Less flexibility. Less privacy. Less honesty. You are paying a premium to become an unpaid mascot. Corporations adore that arrangement. Number 3 is expensive hobbies that come with permanent dues. Notice I did not say hobbies are bad. Hobbies are necessary. If your whole life is work, bills, and doom scrolling, your brain starts smoking. But some hobbies are basically second mortgages with a cute reputation. Membership fees, storage fees, equipment upgrades, travel costs, maintenance, social pressure to keep up. Suddenly your fun has recurring overhead. That is not recreation. That is another invoice with a personality. And the rich who stay rich understand something really simple. A hobby should restore you, not own you. Golf club memberships, boat slips, high-end gear cultures. Elite circles where every weekend costs real money just to enter the conversation. Now zoom out. A few thousand a year becomes tens of thousands. Tens become hundreds over decades. And that is before you count what those dollars could have done if they were not being fed into an identity machine. Meet Paul. Loves the idea of looking successful more than he loves the hobby itself. So he picks activities with expensive uniforms, expensive communities, and endless upgrades. Every year, more cash goes out. Ask him why, and he says networking. Maybe. Sometimes. But a lot of people are just buying expensive ways to avoid sitting alone with themselves. Now meet Ruth. She reads, hikes, gardens, plays cheap local sports, borrows books, walks trails, knows her neighbors. Her hobby bill stays light. Her life does not. That is the trick. Cheap does not mean empty. Expensive does not mean meaningful. And if a hobby keeps demanding tribute, it is not your hobby anymore. It is your landlord. Number 2 is invisible fees. This one is nasty because nobody feels it in one dramatic moment. It happens quietly. Management fees, advisory percentages, tiny annual charges attached to your money like leeches wearing business casual. And people shrug because 1% sounds small. 1%. Who cares, right? Wrong. 1% is one of the cleanest heists in modern finance because it hides behind math most people never run. Here is the street translation. A percentage fee does not just take a slice once, it keeps shaving the base. Then the growth on that base. Then the growth on the growth. Over long periods, that tiny fee can eat an obscene share of what you would have ended with otherwise. Not a few bucks. Potentially a huge chunk of the final pile. That is why the wealthy who understand compounding get weirdly allergic to ongoing percentage drag. They will pay for expertise, sure, but they want clarity, fixed planning, specific work, real value, not a permanent straw in the cup. Meet Nina. She feels intimidated by money language, so she hands everything over to someone polished, confident, and expensive in a subtle way. He says it is only 1%. Only. Years go by. The market does its thing. Her savings grow slower than she thinks. The gap between gross growth and actual result stays invisible, because nobody shows you the alternate timeline. That is the scam. Not always illegal, just beautifully hidden. Now compare that with someone who asks harder questions. What am I paying for? What exactly happens each year? Is this a planning fee or a forever fee? Could I simplify this? That is not being cheap. That is refusing to be extracted by vocabulary. And it leads directly to number one, because the biggest leak is not the marketplace. It is the mood. Number one is emotional spending. This is the boss fight. This is the one that ruins every spreadsheet. Because your biggest threat is not always inflation, not always fees, not even status pressure. Sometimes it is you. Sad on a Tuesday, tired on a Friday, jealous after 10 minutes on social media, bored after work, angry after a bad text, lonely after dinner, and your phone is right there. So you buy. Not because you need the thing, because you need a feeling, a hit, a lift, a reset, a little movie where your life feels upgraded for 6 minutes. This is why emotional spending is number one. Everything else on this list can be understood once. This one has to be beaten again and again. Meet Sarah, 34, makes decent money, not reckless, not dumb. But every stressful week ends the same way. A package, a reward, a little, I deserve this. And look, sometimes you do deserve something. Actually, no, that is too soft. You deserve relief. But the store is not selling relief. It is renting you distraction at full price. That is different. The rich who hold wealth long-term are not superhuman. They just build friction between emotion and purchase. They do not let every feeling reach the checkout page. That is the immunity. And here is the tool. When you want something that is not essential, wait 30 days. Not 30 minutes, not overnight, 30 days. Write it down. Save the link if you want. Then walk away. After 30 days, ask one question. Will I still be happy I bought this a month from now? If the answer is weak, foggy, defensive, or full of excuses, you just found an emotional purchase wearing a fake mustache. Let it die. This one habit alone can change the whole machine, because it forces desire to survive time. Most fake needs cannot. And here is the deeper point tying all 7 together. People who keep wealth do not win because they discovered some glamorous secret. They win because they quietly stop buying the things that make everyone else look successful while getting poorer. That is it. They skip the depreciation trap. They skip the fear add-ons. They skip trend-chasing upgrades. They skip logo theater. They skip hobbies that invoice them for identity. They question silent fees. And most importantly, they stop using money as emotional medication. That does not look exciting on camera. It does not make for great flex culture. It is not sexy. It will not go viral at brunch. Nobody claps when you calmly refuse nonsense. But working into old age because you spent your prime financing appearances? That is way less sexy. So be honest, which one got you? The shiny purchase, the little insurance scam, the trendy upgrade, the logo addiction, the expensive hobby, the hidden fee, or the late-night emotional checkout spiral? Drop it in the comments. Be honest. I am guilty in at least 2 of these myself. And if you want more breakdowns on the stuff quietly keeping people broke on purpose, you know what to do. Do not let them play you. Listen to what they are actually saying.